Today we are going to discuss about Dockerfile. Clear? Now see what exactly Dockerfile is. Generally, if you want to create images, then you have two options. One is you can create the images from commit or by committing the running container, and the second option is you can create the images with Dockerfile. Third option is also there, which is you can create the images from scratch. Clear? But that we do not use. Okay. Now, so how you can create images with Dockerfile? Now see, before starting this Dockerfile, I just want to ask you a very simple question. If you want to deploy a web server, what are the steps you need to take? Anyone? Nike? If I'm telling you that please deploy a Apache web server, from where you will start? And what will you will do actually?
Okay, first we'll install the packages Apache related. So,
No. Before that, you will create a VM, right?
no.
After that, you will turn on that VM or you will log in into it.
Wait, back.
Number three,
Yes.
you will configure repository if the repository is not available. Number four, you will install package HTTPD. Number fifth, you will copy the website data into
Yeah.
www.html. Number sixth, you will run or start the service, right?
This is a normal scenario in the VM, right? Virtual machines.
This is a normal scenario in a virtual machine. Clear?
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Now, as the same way, you have to imagine while creating Dockerfile. Okay, in the same way you have to imagine. So, what we generally do in the Dockerfile, just imagine that I want a container of the VM, means I want a container of the base image from CentOS colon latest. What it means? It means you are actually having a container. Just imagine like that. That while writing this from CentOS latest, I am using a CentOS image and Docker is actually going to create a container from it. Now, when the container will be created, I'm logged in into it. After that, what I want to do, I want to configure a repository. Let's say I don't want to configure a repository. Repository is already configured. I directly want to install Apache. So I want to run a command inside that container. Run yum install httpd. Now, while running yum install httpd, as you know, it will always ask you for yes and no. No, Docker will never ask you for yes and no. It does not support to give a standard input while like running Dockerfile or while building image from Dockerfile. So you need to run a command line in the way that it never require any standard input. So I'm using -y. After that, what I want to do, I want to copy the website data into where www.html. Now, obviously, I am having my data on my base machine where Docker is installed, which is called Docker host. I want to copy that data, copy instruction. From where you want to copy the data, /root src. Where you want to copy in the container, where www.html. And this folder is present because you have installed this package. And after that, you need to start the service. Now, in the image, what you always need to set, you always need to set the CMD, because whenever you will create any container from that image, whatever you have mentioned in the CMD, it will actually be launched as the first command inside the container while creating the container from image. So I want to run HTTPD. Now on the normal system, what do? You run this command systemctl start httpd.service. If I tell you that without systemctl, can you start httpd.service, guys? Without systemctl, can you start this service, guys?
No.
Why no? Can't you run USR as been HTTPD? This command, this will start the httpd.service. Okay.
Okay.
If you want to start MySQLD, just run this command MySQLD. These are the commands actually. But we generally do not remember these commands because we always control the services with systemctl. I want to set the CMD over here. USR has been HTTPD. I want to run it in background mode. This is the command. This is a very simple Docker file. Clear? Let me copy it. While running or while building the Docker image from this file, what Docker is going to do? Docker is going to pull a CentOS image. After that, Docker is going to create a container. After that, Docker will log in inside that container. After that, Docker will install Apache. Docker will like copy the data from base machine to this folder, and Docker will set the CMD to this. And after that, Docker will commit that container and the image will be created. And now from that newly created image, whenever you will create container, this command is going to be launched as the first command and the HTTPD will be started inside the container. Let me copy this. Now to create a Docker file,
Can you go on
can
mute?
you mute yourself? Now, while creating the Docker file name should be or must be this. You cannot give another name to Docker file instead of this name, apart from this name. So the name should be this. Clear? Now, obviously, I cannot create multiple Docker file in same folder because two files with the same name cannot exist. So every time if I'm creating some Docker file, I need to create a folder for it. mkdir grass cd grass touch Docker file, vim Docker file, and copy the instruction. That's it. From run copy CMD. That's it. Now, over here, what folder I'm going to use? I'm going to use a folder on my current working directory /src. I must be having this folder mkdir src. I must be having some file inside it echo h1 hello everyone. At src index.html. Done. Now Docker build to build the file -t to give a tag. I want to give it a tag as Apache v10 or v1. Okay. And dot because my Docker file is present on my current working directory. Enter. Now you see it is creating a container from it. It is going inside that. It is running this command. Okay. All the things are done, installed. After that, it has copied the data. It has set the CMD, removing intermediate container and successfully built. So this is the image which is built. Total 4 steps were there because you have run 4 instructions. Docker images. This image has been created. Now you can run container from it. Docker run -itd -name new container and -p 80:80 and Apache v1 Docker ps. It is running fine and I can come on that IP colon. It is working fine. Hello everyone. So this is how you can create your custom images. So you always need to imagine in a way that you are deploying something on a virtual machine. So you will be able to create the Docker file also. Guys, do you have any questions over here?
So basically the Docker file is basically use case of customizing the things as per our requirement, right? In the yes. Base image.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You always need to select a base image actually. Without that base image, without a base file system, you cannot install anything.
Yeah, I understand.
Now,
the same feature is can be done on the VM as well. Correct?
Yeah, we have created a CentOS ISO operating system with CentOS ISO image. After that, we install packages, everything, we configure everything. We create services, we enable them. After that, we can copy that complete VM and give it to someone.
Right.
And whenever that person will restart that VM, obviously all the services which are enabled will be started on the reboot, like the way we do in Dockerfile. Clear?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is actually a very good approach to understand Dockerfile. Okay. Otherwise, we generally get confused. What are these from, run, or copy? What are these? So we'll always I always need create an imaginary thing. Okay, in the mind, so that you can easily understand it. Now, let's say while running this command, you want to change to some directory. You can use work directory. It will work as cd/boot. Now, let me do one thing. Right now, when I'm going inside this container, see what is your current working directory / because you have not set up any work directory. Okay. Now, exiting from it, removing this container. What I'm going to do in this Docker file, I'm going to write work directory. Means after installing the package, I want to run a cd command inside the container. So cd/boot means work directory /boot. After that, I want to copy the data from base machine to this folder, or let's say var www.html. Done. And now let me save it. Docker build -t apache :v2 run docker images. Now new images here. Docker run -itd v2. Go inside it. And you see what is your current working directory. Because you are inside that now.
Right.
Like you want to copy some script from that base machine to some particular directory, so you can use dot in the Docker file like this. I can use a dot also here. After that, if I want to change a directory, I can again change the working directory. Let me change work directory /root, or let's say /var. That's it. Let me create a Docker file from it. v3 docker rm-f new container, and let me create a new container from v3 image. Let me go inside it. Now see what is your present working directory /var. So you always have to imagine like you are deploying something on a virtual machine. Okay. So whatever you will write in the Docker file, Docker will do or run these instructions. Exit vim docker file. Now, after that, let's say you want to copy some data from some online resource to your container. Then copy will not work. Instead of copy, you can use add. And you can give your complete online URL. Someone pdf.com/pdf and var www.html. So if you want to add will work for copying the data locally also and for copying the data on remotely also. But copy will only give you the privileges of copying the data from local system to container. Okay, add will do both. So if you want to download some file from the internet to your container, you can use add. Clear? This is one more operation. After that, now let me do something like I want to print a hello command inside the container. Okay, so what I'm going to do, mkdir, I'm creating a new directory grass1. I'm going into it. I'm creating a Docker file. Here I'm writing from CentOS colon latest, and I'm directly running CMD command. What I want to run? I want to run echo hello. Now this thing you need to understand. If you want, these are the commands and how you will write these commands in CMD format. Let's say you want to run echo hello. Let's say you want to run mysqld. Let's say you want to run ls-l/boot. Let's say you want to run httpd-d foreground. How you will write this? So you will always like write the CMD as, you need to separate these all the things, comma, here hello will be there, and here echo. MySQLD simple, MySQLD, ls-l boot, comma, ls-l/boot. Obvious httpd-d foreground like this. If I want to run some script, sh./script, then I will write this command like sh, comma, ./script. Okay. So you need to write the every single word of the command, okay, by separating it by comma and by putting them into the double quotes. Clear? You cannot directly write echo hello. Okay, it will not work. So I'm writing echo hello. That's it. Very simple. Docker build -t experiment colon v1 and dot created docker run. Now I'm not running it with D, I'm running it with IT. So it will give me the output experiment colon v1. See, it is printing hello on the base machine. So this output is coming from the container. So it is the easiest Docker file example, easiest. Now, after that, you have the volume option also. If you want to mount some volume, but I will not recommend you to use this option in Dockerfile because volume should be dynamic. Okay, once you are actually set up this image with the volume, while running the container, it will always find the volume. If the volume is not available on the base machine, then container will not be started. So we never define volume in the Docker file, in the production environment. This is only just for a theoretical purpose. You can define it. Clear? One thing, let's say if I want to set some environment variable. Okay, guys, tell me if I want to set some environment variable over my machine, how can I do that?
So come again.
How can I set an environment variable on a CentOS system here?
You want to say that basically
Export. Export person equal to machine, and you can see it in the env. See? Very simple, guys. Now, can I use this particular or can I call this variable in any of the file in my CentOS system? Yes or no?
So this is basically, this is the feature of CentOS, right? Whatever we running on top of that, right? Docker.
No, I'm not talking about Docker. I'm just asking you that if I want to set some environment variable, then how can I set it? With the help of export command?
Okay.
And this is the environment variable which has been set up. Person is equal to Manish. Here.
Right. Okay.
Now, in any of the file in my CentOS system, I can call this environment variable, right?
Okay, got it.
If I will call person, obvious, the machine will be there. Manish will be there. Value.
Right.
Yeah. So let's say if you want to like change something inside the container, let's say you want to change the port inside the container, how can you do that? So if you want to set some environment variable inside the container, you write that vim docker file. You can use env. What environment variable you want to set? Person equal to Manish. या फिर let's say you want to set the port equal to 8080. Okay. Now save it. Docker build -t apache v4 dot docker run, or so first remove that container. Docker run -itd -name new container -p 80:80 and apache v4 docker exec -it and run the env command inside the container. See, this environment variable has been set up, right? If you want to set some environment variable inside the image, then you can use what? env instruction. But one more thing, guys, over here. It is not suggested to set the env and volume inside the Docker file, because once it has been set up, then how will you change it? Let's say I want to change the value of the environment variable port to 8090. Again, I need to create a new image because I have hard coded that thing. Okay. I have hard coded this thing over here. Anytime if I want to change the environment variable value from 8080 to 8090, I again need to create an image by running this docker build command on this Docker file. And I don't want that. So in the production environment, you actually do not use this. Okay. What we do, we can directly set an environment variable inside the Docker container, like docker run -itd -name CentOS -e. What you want to set? Person equal to Kushal -e. Port equal to 6060. After that, CentOS image name, enter, docker exec -it, CentOS bash and run env. See, automatically these environment variables has been set up. So never write these environment variables, or never like hard coded. These environment variables should not be hard coded in the Docker file. You need to set them over the command line. Now, if inside my container, any of the file is requiring this port value, then it will take automatically from 6060. Got it, Manish or Nagi?
Got it. So that is clear.
Yes,
For
yes.
example,
Let me tell you.
We are not shifting to the port. We can take it as a whatever we required in the command while configuring this, right? Got it, your point.
Yeah. So do not define it in the Docker file, or do not define the volume and environment variable in the Docker file while doing something in the production environment, because it will always lead you to some issues in the future. Okay.
Right. Got it.
Now, because at first time when I started working on one of the project on Docker, okay, on freelancing, one of the client was very upset because I have done these things actually. Then someone actually has done a meeting with me and he told me about this, that do not use volume and the env inside the Docker file, because we do not want them to be hard coded. We want them to be dynamic. So whenever we want, we can change that on command line. Clear?
Understand. This is the learning, yes.
Yeah. Now, after that, see, let's say I want to change a port number inside the container. Now, how can I change that? I can mount a complete configuration directory inside the container, right? So what I'm doing over here, now see this practical very carefully. Yeah. Now see, I'm running a container, docker run -itd -name Apache. Okay. Okay. Let me do one thing. Can you control my system, Manish?
Mm, how
Do you have any option to give me a request for accessing control?
let me try. Not
See in triple dot.
triple dot, and triple dot I have option is show device setting and show meeting details, enter full screen keypad, and turn off the video, incoming video. Only this is the
Okay,
option.
no issues. Let me try. Let me do the practical. I was thinking like to tell you to create some containers and to copy some data.
Okay.
But okay, let me do it. Docker run hyphen itd hyphen name Apache and HTTPD. Done. Very simple. I'm running a very simple container of Apache. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me not create the container for this HTTPD. Let me do one thing. HTTPD image is actually based on Ubuntu. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't want to use it. Let me run the container from my created image. The Docker file, I'm not setting nothing over here. Okay. Let me create an image from this container. Docker run hyphen itd or Docker build hyphen t Apache colon v1 dot. Let it complete. Done. Docker run hyphen t hyphen name
Apache. Okay. Just new container. Okay. Apache dot.
Now I'm going inside it because I want my configuration folder and everything from this container. Docker exec hyphen it new container. Let me copy the complete folder outside. Okay. Docker cp from the container I want to copy which folder etc httpd conf folder I want to copy on dot ls. So I have complete conf folder now here.
Okay.
lsconf. I have all the files over here. Now I will delete the container. rm-f and new container. Done. Now I have this folder completely over here.
Okay.
In this config folder, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mount this folder again inside the container, but I'm going to change something inside it. I'm going to change the port number. I'm going to change the port number to listen. Okay. Now, obviously while running the container, okay, with this particular file, it will always require the value of the port variable, right?
Right. Right.
What I'm going to do, docker run hyphen itd hyphen name new container hyphen e. Let me run it without e. Apache colon v1 and let me mount a volume hyphen v dot slash conf
Right.
on etc httpd conf.
Perfect. इसमें
/root/grass/conf. Docker ps. It is not running. Obviously, because it must be finding the value of the port variable.
Okay. Some value should be there. Any default value 80, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
fine.
rm-f. Now let me run this container with this command.
Give the dash
-e
environment. Yes,
port
enter
equal to
environment.
8090.
Correct.
And I will mount that port like 80:8090 because in the container the service will be running on 8090. Enter docker ps. See, it is working fine. I can curl localhost. See, hello everyone. Now I have created this image in a way. Anytime someone wants to change some port number, he can give it on the command line.
Completely understand. Yes, that is the best way to do that.
Do that. Clear? Got it? This is the one of the production use case, okay, which you always need to remember. Now, because Docker file is actually easy to understand, like you have multiple instructions, you can Google them, you can use them, but where to use what instruction, that should be clear actually. Okay, what can be the problems in the future? Now, after that, let's say right now, if I will inspect this image, Apache v1.
Right.
You do not have any
Port number.
author over here.
Okay.
I don't know who have created this. And if this image is having some problem, how can I contact that person? And it is having some labels like this. I want to apply some more labels because I have configured this image by me. So what will I do? In the Docker file, I will always write a maintainer. Maintainer is Kushal Samota. Email ID is kushalsamota@gmail.com. And I will always apply some labels. Okay, what label I want to apply? Info. This is custom Apache image and always give env and volume. Like any of the information like this. If I want to tell my customers who are going to use this image. Clear?
Got it.
Docker build -t Apache v2 dot Docker inspect Apache v2 C. Label has been here. If anyone is using this image, he will always read labels. This is a custom Apache image, always give env and the volume. I can give my information. And who is the author? This is the author. What is the email ID? This is the email ID. Clear? This is also one of the most important option. We always give the maintainer and the label. Okay. Now, after that, now let's say you want to change a user. Okay. While running the container from this image, Docker ps, and let me run that command again. Docker ps docker exec -it new container bash. See by which user it is running. If anybody is having access into my container, he can see all the data.
Okay.
I want to run this container with not root user. I want to run this with the Apache user. Clear?
Okay. So you don't want to give the access of the root part. So that nothing will be modified on the image level, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Not on the image level, on the container level. Because someone will log in into my container, but he will be logged in with the Apache user.
Okay.
So he will not be able to see anything in the root folder and anywhere. Okay. And he will not be able to install any packages inside a running container, right? This is not a security, clear? Let me complete first. Okay, after that I will tell you how you can secure your images.
Okay.
I want to run this with Apache user. So I will use Apache. Docker build -t and Apache v3 dot docker v3. Let me give IT. Name of the container is new container 1. Port is 8091 8010. It is giving me some error that port is already allocated. Okay, sorry. Nothing is here. Now I can run that command again. It is working fine. Docker ex. Okay, sorry. I have run this container with the previous image.
Yes, previous one. Correct. So
No?
no, V4. Yes, V4. V3. I think V3.
Let me run with it IT. So it will give me the information over here. Could not open error log file. Now see why this error is coming. Because in the container, the Apache user is actually trying to access this folder. But he is not able to access this folder. So we need to give some permissions also in the Docker file to Apache user. So before setting the Apache user, I will run these commands. chown Apache Apache. These directories I need to see actually. One is run httpd and one is I think another directory. etc httpd logs and run httpd. Done. Now let me save this. Docker build.
Docker build again. V4. Remove the new container. Yes. Then build with the V4 and port same, right?
It is running fine.
Could you elaborate?
This error is always coming actually, but this is running fine. Okay, I can access this. Clear?
Right.
I can run that into ITD also. If you will go inside this container, which user it is running? Apache. You cannot install anything over here. This command has to be run with the super user privileges. So no one can do changes inside my container. Clear?
Got it.
Yeah. Now, how can I secure the data? Because see, if someone is on my system, he can completely export the complete data of a running container to a folder, like a tar file, and he can see all the things. Now, guys, do you have any idea about journalctl?
Yes, yes. We were basically to get the logs
or events. Now, by default, the general is actually available on var lib. Let me find it. find slash hypername journal. Yeah. vi vim run log general. 6. Can you guys read this file? No?
No.
But your journal CTL can read this file, right?
Correct. Journal CTL. Yes. This is
Now,
the.
if someone has access to this system, and if I have not installed journal CTL over here, then can he see my journal? No.
No.
So like that in the production environment also, we use these kinds of softwares. So the data inside the container or the code which is actually present inside the container, that will be only visible by some application. You cannot like log in into the container and you cannot read that. That will be only read by some application which is actually developed by the developer from the organization. Got it, guys?
No. Can you come the last line? I'm not get that last line.
I'm saying that whenever we create any image, if we do not want to, if we do not want someone to see the code inside my container, then what will we do? We will always create an application in a way that the application would be able to read the code, but you will not be able to read the code. Like the way we did it in general CTL. We are not able to read the file, but general CTL is able to read the file. So in the container also some application is running. So that application is able to read the code, but you are not able to read the code while going inside the container. Clear?
Can you give me some example more to understand? And this is not, but I understood that. Let's if
see right now, see there is one container which is running. Okay.
Right. So you are one image
in that
owner.
Container HTTPD is running.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Now someone has like have some code over here index.php.
Absolutely.
If you will log in inside this container, obviously you will be able to read the code.
Right. Every application owner should read that code. Yes. That particular folder and particular.
I don't want the client to read the code.
To client means okay.
I'm passing this message to someone. I don't want that person to read the code inside my image. Now, one option is you can run this with a non-root user, right? Here.
Okay.
So if someone will create a container from this image, whenever he will execute whenever he will take login inside the container, he will always be logged in with a non-root user.
Right.
And that non-root user is not having permission to go into the slash and read this code, right?
Correct.
But this is not a good solution. Why? Because anyone can export this container as it is into a tar format. And after that, he can go into slash and read the code. Now, how can I secure it? What generally developers do, this HTTPD will be able to read the code. But when you are logged in inside the container, you will not be able to read the code. Like the way we did in journal CTL is able to read the system.journal. But you are not able to read the journal directly, right? Clear?
It's still confusing, Kushal. I'm not get the use case. So who will let one container has created? There is a one Apache application is running. Correct. This is the use case. Correct. So you don't want as a application owner HTTP Apache application, he can see the index.php file where the code has copied, right?
Yeah.
So he can see he can able to see only that particular PHP file, not other than my container logs as an administrator. This is the use case I am thinking.
No.
Okay.
See, I'm saying that if you don't want your application owner or the container owner to read this index.php file, how will you restrict him?
So means application owner don't want to share his code with the administrator as a who created the container. Correct? This is
Yes, yes.
okay. So he want to restrict that coding मतलब जो भी उसका web code है वो share it should be restricted to the root user of that particular application.
Yes.
Okay. So in that scenario, you are suggesting that the application, that particular application will be accessible just like a journal CTL or journal system.journal. Okay.
Yeah, because we are not able to read this general, no? But we have access to this file, right?
Right.
But the journal CTL application can access this.
Yes, only journal CTL application can read this file, correct?
Yeah. Now, if I am giving someone my system and I'm not telling him about general CTL, can he read my code? Can he read my general?
No, only journal CTL application can read that. That is fine.
Like that, the developer always code in a way that your application which is running inside the container would be able to read the code. But when you will log in inside the container, you will not be able to read the file.
Okay. So as an administrator, I cannot have access of that particular HTTP application. Is that something we can say that?
Yeah, you will not be able to access the code. Okay.
Okay. So
You can access the file, you can open the file, but you will not be able to read the code because that will be completely encrypted.
Okay. So that will be only okay. So the developer basically Apache developer है, so that will create a like that कि उसके जो application जो उसका code है वो particular application ही access कर पाए, वो able to see means वो उसको वही application उसको view कर पाएगी, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, got it.
Now, so this is also one of the use case. Good. Now, let's say right now I'm running a container. In CentOS, it is a very big problem actually. All the command goes automatically. What was the man? All the history gone. This is running. When I'm going inside it, now I want to read the data. I want to read the data like what is inside the /root folder inside the container. But when I'm going inside the container, I'm logged in with the Apache user. I cannot go inside the root directory. What can I do here? Why the user is not secure that much? Okay. So Docker export --help Docker export container ID dot -o a dot tar. It will completely export the running container into a.tar. Right now, this is the file mkdir Gaurav cp a.tar Gaurav cd Gaurav ls tar -xvf a.tar. All the files are extracted. Anyone can go inside my root folder. See, everything is available to him.
Correct.
So this is not a secure way. Why we are actually using user? Because if someone has access to my container in the container at the running time, he would not be able to install anything. Clear?
Got it.
Yeah, but it is not the way. It is not like we are securing our code. Okay, we are not securing our code. Anybody can export my container. Anybody can export my image into a directory. Clear? After that, now let me give you an example of some Docker file over. Yeah, one more thing I forgot to tell you. Now see, right now this, okay, where I am cd/root grass vim. How many instructions I have, guys, over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 instructions are there, right?
Right.
9 instructions means 9 layer will be created. Okay. If 9 layer will be created, means the image would be heavy. Clear? And I don't want it. What can I do?
Why heavy? Because of just we are adding one command. So
The number of layers is higher than the size will be higher of the image. Clear? Because every time for each layer, it will create a new container and it will run something into it. Clear?
Okay.
Now,
Got it.
so I need to decrease the number of layers. So let's say I have 3 run instructions. So what I will do? Remove it from here, put ampersand or and. Remove it from here, put ampersand. Clear? All the run commands in a single line. So this run instruction will be running on this first, after that this, and after that this. Clear? Now the image size will be what? Low, because only there are 7 layers instead of 9. Clear?
Okay, so one type of command try to put in a single layer, right? Whatever want to add it.
Yeah, but you cannot like pass the copy. Okay, in the copy you cannot use this sign. In the run you can use it. Clear?
Okay. Yeah. It's depend on the use case, what command you are running. Okay.
Now hub.docker.com. Let me give you a very good Docker file example. HA proxy. Now HA proxy Ubuntu. This is the image. Now right now there is no Docker file, but if you will see here, there is a GitHub, which is a source repository for this image. When we will go in this GitHub repository, let's say I want to go for 2.4 version of HA proxy. See, Docker file is present. Sometimes the Docker file is present over here. You will see Docker file option after this tags or near this tags. But right now this is not available. So we can see here. See, from Ubuntu it is using. Who is the maintainer? Dinko Koronik. This is the email ID. dkoronik@haproxy.com. Okay. Maybe he is working in HAProxy, right? Because it is having that domain, right?
Okay.
Labels are applied. Name is this, release, vendor, version, and label. He has defined a label like run docker-d image. Means while running this image as a container, you need to set the CMD like this. Clear?
Okay.
Means docker-d and the image name. Means it is telling you the command. Clear?
Got it.
Environment variables has been set up. See. Run apt-get update end. Apt-get y. Now see. For all these instructions, it is only using one run. Means this all the things will be in a single layer. Okay. So After the run, copy hproxy.cfg, copy this script, entry point. Entry point means like uh, before almost 1 or 2 years, we were actually not using CMD, we were using entry point. Entry point and the CMD. There is one single difference. In the CMD, actually you define the options, and in the entry point, you actually define the command. But now we only use CMD. Right now, what it is doing, you cannot define two CMD inside a container. So first it is defining an entry point. With the entry point, it is actually running a script, and after that, it is actually setting the CMD like this. Okay. So whenever you will create any container from this image, this command will be running inside the container. Clear? Now, over here, see, it is installing everything. Why? Why we have issues in production environment while create images? To create an Docker image, it will take almost 5 to 6 hours. Why so? Because see, when you actually want to deploy something on a CentOS operating system VM, all the libraries are guys present. Clear?
Correct.
Because this VM is all about 8 GB more than. Clear?
Right.
And you just run the command yum install hproxy, start the service, and done. But when you are using this CentOS base image in Docker, this is only of size 150 MB. Do you think that all the libraries will be present over here? No.
I think as a this is the basic of the Docker or Kubernetes, that containers, so containers, all the libraries should be downloaded specific to the container only, right? So that is the basic.
Yes, so all the libraries, while using this CentOS base image, you need to download all the libraries by yourself.
Right. This is the basic.
How will you know that for a application, what libraries are needed?
Correct.
Once you will create the container, it will give an error. After that, you will again download that library. Again, will create an image. Again, will create a container. It will give an error. Like this, we need at least 5 to 6 hours to containerize some application or to create a good image. See, in the hproxy, it is even installed. That these are needed or not. Obvious, with the errors, we can know. Only one solution is there. Or we can Google it. Clear? Everything it is installing, because this is actually using the Ubuntu Focal. Now this is only 150 MB based image. This is not having these all the libraries. But when you are deploying hproxy on a CentOS VM, then obvious all the libraries are generally present. So
sorry, can you go down the, can you repeat? I'm not understand this entry point and CMD. From the CMD, what I have understanding that, so to run this container on the backend, so we need a CMD, right? This is the understanding I have.
Yeah.
So
if you want to run some script before CMD, you can use that entry point.
What is the use case? I'm not understand that. In what scenario we need to run this entry point, or we need to run some script?
Inside the container, let's say you want to run some script, okay? Then how will you run it?
Can you tell me example that in what scenario we need to run that script? What exactly? So that's why I'm not able to understand maybe.
See, let me tell you entry point versus CMD. Now, see, CMD sets default command and parameters, which can be overwritten from command line when Docker container runs. Clear? Entry point command and parameter will not be overwritten from the command line. Instead, all command line argument will be added after entry point parameters. Okay. So this is the image. They have given you example over here. Let me check. See.
Sorry, Kaushal, I'm again questioning the same. कि जो मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि CMD हम तब देते हैं क्योंकि कोई मेरा कंटेनराइज एग्जिट ना करे. करेक्ट? दिस इज द अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई लर्न फ्रॉम द लास्ट 1 week. करेक्ट? ठीक है. तो बट when we using entry point, I'm not unable to understand कि एक बार स्क्रिप्ट चल गई तो उसके बाद वो एग्जिट कर जाना चाहिए.
If you want to set some CMD, what you can use, or you can write the command in entry point and you can use the option of that command in the CMD, right? Clear? But combinedly, we can use only CMD to write these all the information. Okay, entry point is not that much needed. Clear? So specify the default command to execute when the container is created. By default, the command that is executed unless an entry point is specified. And CMD provides the default arguments for the entry point instruction. Now clear?
Sorry, क्वेश्चन नहीं समझ आ रहा है. Seriously, ये नहीं दिमाग में नहीं पड़ रहा.
देखो, अगर आपको echo hello कमांड चलानी है,
okay,
तो पहले डॉकर में हम लोग क्या लिखते थे? एंट्री पॉइंट में we will write echo, और CMD में हम लोग क्या लिखते थे? hello.
एंट्री पॉइंट listen today only यार, मैं पहले समझा.
एंट्री पॉइंट में कमांड्स लिखी जाती है, and in the CMD you write the arguments.
Correct. ठीक है.
ls-l/boot रन करना है, then in the entry point you will write ls, or in the CMD you will write -l or boot, right? But now we do not use that approach. Okay, instead of entry point we always use CMD, and we write all the information in the single CMD. Clear?
Right. We have just used CMD as put the whatever the command will run as a background, right? So what we have
commands and argument together.
Correct.
Okay.
Command and argument together. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thank you for patience.
Yeah, no issues. Expose, what expose means? Okay, now see. Inside this Docker, why the session is actually again and again. In the Docker file, let's say if you want to use some or expose some port, generally that is not needed. Okay, expose means when the container will be created, okay, the process inside the container will be start listening on the particular port number like 8090, but we never use it. Why? Because we cannot like hard code this value. Okay, so if you are using expose or if you are not using expose, there is no changes. Okay, someone will inspect this image, he will know about it, that what on what port number the process inside the container is running. Okay, like see, docker inspect httpd less. In this image, exports port are what? 80. So you will know that in this container, the process will be running on 80 port number, right? Because this has been set up while creating the image for httpd. But if I'm inspecting my created image, Apache colon v5, let's see. Are you finding any export port over here?
No, so because we have this as I put it as an environmental, correct?
Yeah, because we have not like added the expose option in the or expose instruction in the Docker file. So you define it or you do not define it, there is no issue on the container. But if you are not defining it, and if someone is inspecting your image, how that person will be aware about in when I will be running that container, what port number will be exposed inside the container? So that is just a normal use case. Okay, use it, do not use it, doesn't matter. Okay, but in the official images, you will always know by inspecting that whenever I will create the container from this httpd image, the process inside the container is running on 80 port number. So I need to use the command -p 80:80. Okay.
But as you said in production scenario, we're not giving any exposing any port level, right?
No, you give expose, doesn't matter.
Okay.
That is just information, nothing else. Clear? Now, And generally in the production environment, we actually define expose. Okay. And what you can do in this scenario, I can expose dollar port. Clear? Got it?
We are not giving any port number. Okay, okay. This is the
We are
same
calling
thing.
the environment variable.
This is the same we are changed in the .conf file, right?
Yes, same.
We are doing the same through this one, correct? This
Yeah. Once you have written this instruction, if anyone is inspecting your image which is created with this Docker file, he will be able to understand that in the container what port the application will be running on. Okay.
Okay.
So these are all the instruction: label, maintainer, run, expose, env, add, copy, user, cmd, entry point, volume. Otherwise you can check out on internet. Clear? Now the Docker file has been completed. Clear, guys?
Right.
Yeah, just a second. Now that's all about the Docker, guys.
Okay. So Docker is completed, right? Container.
Yes. Yeah, the part which is actually in OpenShift, that part is actually completed.
Right. So from tomorrow we will 2 or 3 classes for the Kubernetes basic, right?
Yeah, from tomorrow we will start the classes for Kubernetes.
It's good. Yeah. Good learning. Thank you.
Now, are you confident on Docker?
Yes, we can definitely speak a good amount of things on Docker now.
Okay. That's great, guys.
Thank you. Catch
Any
you tomorrow.
questions?
नहीं, that's good.
Nagy has left.
Nagy मैं खत्म चला गया यार शायद.
अरे कब चला गया वो?
पता नहीं. It's good. कोई problem नहीं है. Thank you Kaushal for your time.
Okay, Manish.
Same time, ठीक है?
Okay.
Bye.